Hi everybody, my name's Colin Way. Today we're going to look at 4 of the main things to consider when you're buying your first lathe. Those things would be capacity, the power of the machine, what type of machine, and of course your budget. But let's start by looking at the overall anatomy of a wood turning lathe. Okay, so let's start by looking at the headstock. Headstock here, the headstock houses the spindle, and on the spindle you've got Morse taper and the thread for your particular machine. Then we move on to the tool rest. The tool rest is then housed in a banjo or saddle, and they're controlled by the cam lock levers here and the locking levers here. Then we move on to the tailstock. The tailstock is your clamp for between center work, and it has its own locking handle here and houses the quill, and the quill will move to and fro as the clamp, all again controlled with a cam lock at the back. And then one of the most important things, the bed of the lathe. Okay, so in this case this is the AC355WL, nice long bed on it, and then of course the control system, in this case a variable speed control system. Okay, let's start by looking at the capacity of the machine. If we take this one as an example, this is the AC355WL. Now the 355 stands for the amount of bowl blank you can get on there, so the diameter, 355 millimeters of bowl blank. If you then look at between centers, it basically means what you can get between the headstock and the tailstock, so distance between the centers. So it's between this point and this point. Okay, so type of machine. Now we've got 3 types of control on machines. You can either go for fixed pulley, so that's where you have a pulley on the top, a pulley on the motor, and they're stepped. And when you want to change speed, you turn the machine off, slacken the belt, and move the belt over. A little bit like gears on a bicycle is the best way to explain that one. Your next control would be mechanical variable speed. That's where you have a set of pulleys, both top and bottom, that mesh together. And as you move the lever, the control lever, those pulleys move out and in. And that controls speed and torque at the same time. If we take this lathe for example, this has an electronic variable speed on it. So yes, it has a set of step pulleys here, but also you can control speed within each of those pulley settings simply by dialing up or down on the control dial here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the power of the machine. Power is closely linked with the capacity of each of your lathes. So if we look at this one as an example, it has a 1 horsepower 750 watt motor, and that's linked in with the 355 capacity on the headstock. As you travel up through the machines, as they get bigger, you will find capacity changes, and the motor power has to change to keep up with that. Okay, so lastly, let's look at the budget. So what you're willing to pay or can afford to pay for your machine. And if we look at beginners machines, that can be anything from between £200 to £600. If you're looking at just a basic lathe, a fixed pulley setting, then you'll be around the 200 mark. But if you want a bigger power with electronic variable speed, then you'll be more toward the £600 mark. Okay guys, if you want to recap on any of the specifics we've covered today, just check out the video bar and the chapters below, or have a look at any of the other wood turning videos here. If you have any more questions, just leave them in the comment section below. And if you want more information on the spec and each of the machines, go down to the description and follow the link.